up?
Not much. I got this one recording. I figured we didn't do the last one, and we're not going to do one during Dragoncon, I don't think.
Probably not.
Maybe we'll do like a 5-minute check-in or something.
Yeah.
Is anyone else coming to this one?
I don't know. We haven't really talked about it much leading up to it, so I'm not sure. Like, because I know Val's starting school, so she's probably preoccupied and stuff. But... Hi, buddy. Okay. Hi, dude.
Oh, what a good boy.
Ah, boy.
I like his curly chest hair.
Yeah. I'm so old now.
Aw.
Oh, man. Yeah. There's nothing up here for you. Oh, okay.
So there's that.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm glad it doesn't matter what size the dog is.
Yeah. Good boy. Can you go lay down?
Never.
He's been home alone all day, so. I actually don't think today's is going to take super long anyway.
Yeah.
I feel like we say that every time.
That's fair.
Yeah, well,
Then we
last
black
week's was
out.
long because last week we skipped 2 weeks ago, so last week's was long. But
Yeah.
I was saying to Lindsay that you guys have mostly shifted gear to Dragoncon right now, anyway. So.
Yeah.
Dude,
You
I
should see
wish.
Jason's desk right now. He had to like really try to get me some room for my notebook.
I literally just pushed like 30 paint bottles over to the side. Like,
Yeah.
it's not an exaggeration.
No. 8, 2, 4, 6,
It's a lot.
10, 12, 14.
I forwarded you a folder and an invoice from Arthur an hour or two ago.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I didn't check it yet.
Okay. I just want to make sure you got it.
Yeah, I saw that you sent me stuff. I had to just before this meeting run and get Pippin some medication
Okay.
because he's got
Yep.
intestinal stuff. He's got
Oh, boy.
parasites.
No good.
He's
Yeah.
got puppy worms. It's
Yeah.
not like...
Apparently,
okay.
it's apparently pretty common. So
Yeah.
no worries. He just
Just
needs
come
to
out. So.
have some medicine. Hi, buddy.
So let's see. Okay. Like you said, yeah, there's a week till DragonCon, which
Yeah.
is both yay and holy shit, I'm not ready.
Yeah. I mean, we're not doing this next week, right? Because that's like the day before.
No.
God,
hell
no,
Yeah.
no. We actually
No.
leave on Wednesday morning, so
Oh,
we
you guys are
can't.
leaving Wednesday? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
we'll
So-
be at 6 a.m. We'll be
Yeah.
in the air.
Yeah. So what I'd like to do is get us just into a good position
Yeah.
where, because obviously not a ton's going to get done over the next week and a half, 2 weeks. But I kind of have a game plan in mind for September and basically the rest of the fall.
Right.
Yeah, hell, hit me, because
I mean,
that would make
I
me
feel
feel
like-
better.
Well, I feel like we tried. We had a pretty good plan in place for like June, July, August, right?
Mhm.
But I feel like after seeing what we were able to get done in that amount of time, I feel like we can improve it. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I feel like everything leading up to the last week and a half... Oh, hi, Val.
Hi,
Hi.
hey, Val.
I'm getting ready with lighting.
You're... Am I the only one who doesn't show up to this with vanity lighting?
I told Jason before we started this exact meeting, I was like, we should start giving them like an hour or two heads up that they're going to be recorded.
I
And
should.
Jason acted like I grew a second head. He was like, well, they should just know by now.
I just, like, it's so not a thing to me because there's no improving this. So
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Is like, what am I gonna do? Put on makeup? Like,
Right.
there's no, it's not gonna get better.
we did the group B, and we're recording behind the scenes now. And I literally, like, Jamie's like, oh, we're recording these now? It's like, I've been, Jamie, 3 months. 3 months I've been telling you. So she went and got professional lighting, sat it up behind a desk, and pro-lit herself. No shit. It's like,
I love her.
well, I can't
Oh,
compete
man,
with that.
we are the same family.
And then
You
had to
guys
move
want
because
to
her
see
fridge
my
was too
new
loud.
bedroom?
I
Yeah.
do. Hit me.
Oh yeah.
It's like my computer's plugged into.
Oh,
And we
there
lost-
she goes.
Oh, no. She unplugged her internet. I'm so excited to show you guys. Oh, hey, you're back.
Oh yeah, and stuff fell. So
That was
there you
great.
go, it's my new room.
Valerie, we didn't see any of that.
That
It
just froze out the whole
froze.
time.
It froze
Oh,
the second
cool.
you picked it up.
Tight.
The very second you started tilting, it went.
And
Like,
then as soon as you sat back down, you came back. Show
That's
us
really
again.
funny.
Show us
Okay.
again.
See if it does it again. Oh, there it
Okay.
is.
ah, nice.
Ah, I love it.
Cute.
Very nice.
Oh, it's stuck. Okay, there we go.
Nice.
So you moved in, everything's good.
I have a double
Yeah.
bed in your dorm. It's amazing.
Yeah, girl, it's a queen's. It's not a dorm. That's why it's an apartment. Well, it's
Oh.
a townhome.
Okay.
Oh, a
Uh,
townhome.
So you're
Yeah.
not on campus properly. You're just like
Correct.
just off. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense then. I was gonna say.
How
Yeah,
posh.
no, I'm living the good life here.
Nice. That's awesome. Got to put some shit on your walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you need like a Scarface poster and like something with Bob Marley on it? I think it's
Yeah.
the college
Yeah.
experience.
Oh, or
Big
just like
tapestry.
a big tie-dye tapestry. Yeah, like
Yeah,
just a big
exactly.
fucking with like
Yep.
some color.
Big tapestries with Celtic knots were big when I was in college.
Oh, yep.
Outward.
That sounds like the most Bostonian thing ever. That
Bead
region.
door.
I can tell you stories.
So, yeah, we're prepping for Dragoncon, so like not a lot has been done this particular week, because we're prepping for that live show and everything like that. But everything leading up to that, I feel like we've done quite a lot. By the time we're ready to go to Dragoncon, I'll have stats for all the cast and everything like that, so that'll at least be done. And that'll probably be the last thing I do proper before we take off.
Yeah.
And maybe look at Ebony Harbor.
Yes, I'll try.
Yeah. There's only like 3 notes for that one.
I know.
So
you emailed me very sweetly a week ago telling me it's like, these are the things, and I asked you, it's like, email me that, and then I never
email me
opened
that
it.
so I don't forget.
I didn't forget. It's still there. It's still
But
very
yeah,
much there.
just for Jasper, if we could. I think it's just asking for like 5 names. One of them is Yulin's friend's name.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if Jasper's going to have time between now and Dragoncon,
Right,
but I
so-
know that the original goal was to have Ebony Harbor like done by Dragoncon.
Yeah.
So, or
And-
I mean, 10,000 horns, including
10,000
Ebony Harbor.
horns, yeah.
So,
And he has some
Um,
stuff for the rest of it, and I think he's been working with that so far, so we're good.
I'll tell you what. I'll start my day off with that tomorrow.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not like Jameson just said. He probably doesn't have time, so it's.
But still,
really-
I don't want anybody
Yeah.
waiting on me.
Yeah.
speaking of which, we have quotes for Ebony Harbor. If you guys want to pick one real quick.
Oh hell yeah!
Because I
love
figure that's
those
probably
guys.
the only section in 10,000 Horns that needs a quote.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
So.
I think so. There might have been, well, like all the like the Highland Mountains, Broadside Bay. No, wait, that's the wrong thing. Or is that? No, that's not. Wait. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
You're doing great, Val.
Actually, you're right. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking
The
about.
only one I always get confused about is Thunderspire. I always forget if it's in 10,000
It's just
Horns.
north of 10,000 horns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That being said, all 3 of the quotes that were pulled for 10,000 Horns or for Ebony Harbor are all from Yulin. So
Yes.
it's,
Perfect.
I think that's pretty perfect.
He's my favorite. I love him so much.
I'll do the one that I like first. The one that I like best is first. It's the shortest one, and I think it's the best overall. He just says, "It's a quaint little town. We all get along very well."
Oh, cute.
That one's
I,
cute.
f-
Yeah.
I feel like that's good, nice and simple.
Yeah.
Try
the second
Yulin's voice for the next one.
No, no,
Why
I don't even know
not?
what he sounds like. Because first of all, I don't remember what he sounds like.
Jason, give him. No, I'm just kidding. Go.
The second quote is, "My fear is that you may have noticed many of our denizens are now Minotaur. I'm afraid that would create some ill will within our community." I don't know if I like that one just because you don't really get
You
what
need
he's referencing.
context.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
need
you
context.
context
Yeah,
them.
Yeah.
I don't even think we mentioned the Minotaur that much in the. Like, they're there, but like.
No, we mentioned them because
Yeah.
like half
Yeah,
the
they're
business
brought up.
owners now are like,
Yeah.
And then the third one is a little bit similar. It says, "They've worked out a bit of an exchange here. They protect us from things like pirates and wildlife in the area, and in turn they get to live here and not have to live in Thunderspire."
I kind of like that one.
That one's
Of the ones about Minotaur, I like that one. But
That one, if you put that one like if you kind of wedged it into a section that just finished talking about the Minotaur, it would make sense.
Yeah,
Like
that
the
definitely.
paragraph about the Minotaur and then that quote, rather than having it at the top. And it doesn't always need to be at the top.
True.
So
Right.
it's worth considering.
That's true. I do like that first one just as like
Yeah.
an overview of the town and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Fairbanks and Ebony Harbor are two of like the nicest towns, of just like the chillest towns.
Yeah.
So it'd be
Alright.
nice to have a quote to reflect that.
Okay.
Yeah. I like that.
All right. I'm going to put it in the document now, just so I don't forget it.
Okay.
And I don't know that we have standardized, Val, how we quote, like the format of the quote and like the timestamp of the episode afterwards. We'll have to look
Yeah.
at the preview doc.
I mean, I don't think we were putting timestamps. It was just
I think it was
arc
just like arc
X
and episode.
episode Y.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be good.
I think
Yeah.
that's plenty.
Yeah, I misspoke. I don't think we need timestamps, but let me throw it in there real quick so that it's there.
Remind me to bring up a thing before we leave this meeting today.
Okay.
Something I noticed this week, and I want to circle back around to it. That's all.
Is that
It's
good or bad?
It's an organizational thing. That's all. It's just a suggestion.
Well, might as well hit it now while I'm doing
Yeah.
this.
Okay. So.
Well, I'll just cross that off then.
Yeah. I would very much like to start updating the Google Doc folders with all of our artwork. Because I feel I feel like we have it on our individual PCs or in emails or something like that, and it might be nice to have a drafts folder and a finished folder, because it'll help. One, it'll help with organization and at a glance being able to see what we got or jog our memories, and when it comes time to do that art book, we'll have all the drafts of stuff leading up to that.
I think we initially had the intention of doing that because
We
I feel like
did,
those
yeah.
folders are in place already.
They totally
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also would help once we start revealing things on Instagram and things like that. Like, I know that's something we've been putting off for a while, just because it's like, okay, we have enough to do
Yeah,
without the reveals at the moment. But, like, I know we're all wanting to do that eventually, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Brie, I just wanted to say your hair is so long.
Thank you. I grew it myself.
Like I just remember when it was like to your shoulders.
Yeah. In the documentary, I have, like, that really short cut, like the pixie cut, that I totally wanted to get, and it wasn't because of a bleaching accident. So.
A bleaching accident.
That's called a bleach cut.
Um,
But yeah, thank you.
okay, the quote is in there. It's probably not formatted correctly, but it's in there with the episode number as well. So
Good.
And the formatting on the document isn't like, as long as you have like who said it, arc, and episode number, like that's more of a Jasper thing to figure out. The
Yeah,
format.
that's true.
Not me. So
okay.
Not my
Well,
problem.
I just want to make sure it's being quoted consistently. Like obviously the
Yeah.
quote, who said it, and then I figure in parentheses arc and episode.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's done. I just didn't want to forget because we had asked them to find us a quote, and they did. So that's done.
Perfect,
job.
yeah. I gotta go link them because they're awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, we should absolutely start feeding those folders with artwork, with the drafts and with the final versions. I need to go. I have on my work computer, on my home computer, and on my phone. I have just thousands of copies of different phases of
Yeah.
artwork.
And we can't say it because we're recording this one, but there was a reason that it came up, and
Yeah.
you'll see it Dragoncon.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were doing something kind of special, and it's like, boy, this would be a lot easier if, like, we could see the artwork that we've done. We were out and about, so I was looking at phones, and I'm like, was that posted in the Discord server? Was that an email? Was that in the folder? So it's scattered to the four winds.
Yeah.
Well, when we get done recording, before we get off the call, let's talk about that real quick. All right.
Sure.
That being said, I'm encouraged by the art we got this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
I think it looks pretty good. I think I'm glad that we got it. I asked for 2 more pieces by Friday and then the final 2 pieces by Monday.
Oh, that would be phenomenal. If we can hit both of those,
I think
that
that's
would be
totally
perfect.
doable. I asked that if that can't be done, please let me know now.
Yeah.
If we get
So.
the final 2 pieces by Monday,
Yeah, I
That'll
can
give us
format
a
that
full
perfect.
day, yeah.
Yeah.
That's enough time, I feel.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
guys don't have time, then I do, or Susan does, or whoever.
We'll make it work.
Yeah. So I'm encouraged by that. That's all good. I have final in the folder you got from Arthur. There's final art for Larg and Hoog.
Okay.
Um,
Colored
the
or just lines?
colored.
Awesome. I
Colored.
need to
Both
see those.
versions of Larg.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
Um,
want to see those.
What is this? Is this in the Google Drive?
I just forwarded the email to Jason and Bree, but we can
Hell
look
yeah.
at those when we're done recording.
Oh, wait, I can't see it.
Yeah, I'll show it to you. I'll throw it in the Discord when we're done.
Okay.
So that's done. Elarath is also done, but he misunderstood me for which version I wanted him to send me the high-res version of. So I just got to ask him for a different one than the one he sent me. But it's done, and it looks good. And Lisa's seen it, and she likes it. So, does anybody else have anything before I get into what I was going to say?
No.
I mean, I have a question. It's completely derailing the conversation, but if I just get it out now, then I don't have to keep thinking about it.
No,
Hey,
do it.
I jumped in with the art folder stuff. Go ahead.
I know, but this is okay. Let me just say it. Have any of you guys happened to ever use a rowing machine?
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you
Why were you
find
so
one?
surprised?
Because
You're also out of shape and terrible.
I mean, it has been 15 years. But
Yeah, no, I'm not going
You
to say it
grew
was
up
yesterday.
So poor. Why did you even bother learning to row anything?
I've also just rowed a boat, which is very similar. But
I've never
I
been in
just
a boat.
I want to start doing it.
It's
There's
cool.
one at
Yeah,
the
do it.
gym at my clubhouse.
it's one of the
I
best
will.
exercises for you.
Yeah,
It's full body.
it's full body, and it definitely works upper body.
Yeah, it sucks.
Which I need.
Yeah, it does.
I need upper body.
Do it. Absolutely
And
do
also cardio.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to work on cardio. Get ready for your fucking, everything from here to just ache.
You're going to
Oh.
find new muscles. It's
Yeah,
gonna
you
show you
are.
new muscles. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This happened to both me and Elle, so it'll probably happen to you too, Valerie. Your boobs will randomly hurt. You won't know
Oh, see,
why.
they've never done that before.
They just hurt. Right here for some reason. It doesn't happen to Jason, so I don't know if that's
Huh.
just a girl thing
Yeah,
or...
my boobs rarely hurt.
My boobs hurt all the time.
Aw.
Yeah, but that's a thing though. We're never mind. Never mind. I wasn't doing it.
Every now and then we remember we're recording this one.
Yep.
Right.
that's-
I've been on enough GMTs that I don't really care anymore, but
I'm-
it's cool, Val.
yeah, there's a callus over my embarrassment muscle.
Yeah.
What's left?
I'll talk about my boobs on a recording.
Yeah, I mean, what are they, a surprise? Everybody knows. It's fine.
Everyone has boobs. It's good.
That's our next
Surprise!
children's book.
Surprise
Everybody has
boobs. That's...
Featuring Larg.
So,
All right.
I'm thinking that the way I'd like to try to organize things for post Dragoncon to see if we can crank through as much as possible in the fall, because what I don't want to do is kind of do everything up to a certain point and then catch up with everything else, and then suddenly at the end we have all this stuff that's in revision and is flooding into Jasper. So what I'd like to do is focus on getting everything for the regions done this fall that we can.
Oh, yeah, that'd be easy.
Still one region at a time. If we can get 10,000 horns done in the next week to get to Jasper and have all that stuff just sitting in his inbox ready to go, then when we get back in September, we can hit probably White Wolf Valley, another region. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
We can hit that, get all of that stuff to a finalized place, and I want to roll just snowball through the entire region section like that, because I really want to see. I want to see that formatted. I want to see how much space it takes up.
Yeah.
And I want to have. I want to get something into a final stage of production. If you guys sit down to work one day and the region we're working on that week is done, we can pick at other stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I would say for regions right now, as far as rough draft goes, I'd say
Yeah.
we're about 70% done, and the remaining 30%, about 20% of that is Odysseia and Umanero.
Yeah.
Outside of that, we're almost done with regions.
Yeah, for cities or in total?
In total.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
I think
Okay.
there's a few other like overviews and things like that, and mountains and things, but I
Yeah.
have the notes for them, and I'm powering through them as quickly as possible.
Yeah, because I was about to say, Bree's been working on that. Towns and cities have been done for most of the year.
Yep.
Yeah. So glad we did those.
Oh my god, travel tables are done, which I mean they're not done, but again,
roughs.
The roughs are
edits.
done, and I've watched Susan and Valerie just slay the revisions on that. So now I can go back and make everything kind of form fitting, because I know. Before I even look at this, I know most of the notes. It's like sometimes you say this, but sometimes you word it this way, and it's like, yeah, probably. Like, there are 1,500 tables.
So the way I'm thinking of it is it like this: is I want to treat it like a priority system, right? If you guys sit down to work every day, first check to see if there's revisions needed on that region that we're working on that week. Second, I'd like the second priority to be finishing up written descriptions for everything we're getting art for. Because if those descriptions are ready to roll, I can just not stop in getting art done.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I really want to buckle down. I would like to, by Halloween, be done with art. I'd like to be completely done or as close to it as possible.
I like that ambition.
It's a lot. We're
like
roughly halfway in terms of stuff that we've started.
Yep.
And we're about a quarter of the way in terms of stuff that's finished. But if we can, if I drop off of editing the lore a little bit in favor of focusing on the art, and I think I'm starting to get a better system for myself in terms of making sure I'm up to date with everybody. Finally learning how to manage 18 artists. But as long as if I can just bump in with you guys, be like, hey, Arthur's done with these 3 pieces. What are the next 3 pieces we need? Arthur's a bad example. He's the colorist, but like,
Roman, Arthur gets real ambitious.
Yeah, Roman's finished with these 3 pieces. What do you want him to do? And you guys say this, this, and this, and I can just go pull those descriptions and give them to him.
No, that's a good.
Yeah, that's smart.
So what we could do for that. And I don't know how exactly, like this would either be a few days, maybe a week, where we just plug in and just do descriptions for every single thing that's getting art in the book, with the exception of like recipes, because that's
Jasper's jam.
Yeah.
That
Which is totally fine.
You know what I could do to make it a little bit easier too? Because right now the way we have descriptions organized might be a little bit confusing. I could put a direct link to the description in the image list. That way we know which images have descriptions, first of all. And when you go to get those descriptions, you could just go to the image list and click on a link instead of going through like 9 different folders.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a ton of trouble finding them so far.
Okay.
But if that's a good shorthand for you guys organizationally, then I can use that system as well. That works for me.
Yeah.
Even just keeping track of which ones have descriptions and which ones don't would be helpful for us, probably.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that when you guys sit down to work starting in September, first look and see if revisions are needed on the region we're working on at that time, whether it's first, second, third, final, whatever.
Right.
Hit those revisions, get it back to either me or Val or Susan, whoever's doing it. Second, see if there's any more art descriptions that need to be written. And then if both of those things are done, then we keep going with first drafts of whatever else needs to be done, you know.
Right.
The way kind of you guys have been doing it, like we have the first draft of Vampires more or less done right now. We're kind of because all that stuff has to be done, obviously. But I think that should be, until those first 2 things are done, the third step. You know what I mean? And I think there'll be plenty of time for that. Once all the descriptions are done, then it's really just a 2-step priority. You know?
So, question.
Yeah.
How did you want to work on editing and stuff? Like, do you want to stop? Do you want to pull back from editing until like you're hoping for October to get the art stuff focused down and then start?
So my priority system when I sit down to work for the fall is, the way I'm thinking of it is, I'm going to sit down and do what I've been doing, which has been checking in with the artists, making sure everybody's got something they're working on, making sure that notes are being given in a timely manner. Mostly for myself, because there's been multiple times I've sat down and be like, what's Kat up to? Oh shit, Kat emailed me 6 days ago or something like that. So I'm trying to reduce my own the amount of time it takes me to get back to artists and get stuff in front of you guys for notes. So the first thing I'm going to do every day when I sit down to work is that. The second thing I'm going to do every day when I sit down to work is edits specifically on the region that we're working on. Right. If you guys get a first draft done of something else, that's totally fine. We'll start editing that when we get to that.
Right.
But I'm going to focus on the region in front of us, whatever that region is that week, and making sure the artists are all busy and working and have what they need.
Okay.
Until the art's done, and then all that time will be fully on edits at that point.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
There's something we backburnered.
Yeah.
Till after Dragoncon. And I wanted to bring it up again just to kind of get a timetable in my head. Modules.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's going to be a fairly time-consuming process.
Yes.
And it's going to take multiple waves of input from the people who want to create these modules. So, first off, we got the survey information. So it's taking that, and it's probably a broad idea, or even I think one or two people hit me up. It's like, I don't know. It's like, well, we gotta.
It's like, let you know.
You gotta know.
That's why this thing's bold play to pay $1,500 for I don't know. But it's like, okay, well then we'll figure it out. But that means at some point sitting down in a call with these people and like having lengthy conversations, and then we do our first draft, and then we do our so and we got to do that several times. So we need to figure out like a timetable for that and a good way to approach essentially what's a second book.
Yeah, my thought for that, and this is bigger picture, so I'm trying not to think of this as granularly as what I just laid out.
Right.
But my thought for that is, let's say that we're able to get all or most of the art done more or less between October and November, which means by then I would also like to have most of the regions 100% done by then. I think that's also doable.
Oh, God,
that's more than doable.
Yeah.
We'll be done with regions by then.
And if all of the regions are 100% done, meaning like Jasper is laying them out, like that done, or has laid them out, and if the art's almost all the way done, I believe that by that time you guys will also probably have written the first draft of everything else in the book, or close to it.
Yeah.
That would be my goal, would be to be approaching a completed first draft of every piece of lore in the book.
Okay.
By, say, let's call it November. So the position I'd like to be in November, all art done, all regions done completely, the rest of the book, first draft done. When that's done, I think that starting writing on the modules can happen. I don't want to do too much of that until the first draft of the book is done, so that like me and Val and Susan can be editing that while you're writing the modules. But I think that the fact finding, the conversations with the backers needs to happen before that.
Right. I just didn't want to get to a point where I'm starting to schedule calls and starting to talk to people about what their concept is.
Yeah.
As we approach that first draft being completed, the main book.
I would say mid-September you could start hitting people up and we could start planning stuff, because that gives you all of October to plan stuff.
Yeah. And if we're saying November, we're saying November 1st, we have a first draft of this book done, and we're just revising and waiting on last bits of artwork.
Yep.
I think that's perfect.
Yeah, because that way you guys can shift focus then to revision, right? Because all you're doing is revising our edits, me and Val and Susan. So there's more art to approve, hopefully. You're revising edits.
Yeah.
And your focus then shifts almost completely over to the modules.
Right.
While me and Val and Susan edit, revise, and hand off to Jasper.
Right.
And that part of the book is happening.
That sounds perfect.
The woman from Georgia had something to say. Val.
I'm not in Georgia.
I thought you were in Georgia. Where are you?
I'm
still in Florida?
Still.
He's still in Florida.
I thought you moved to Georgia.
Columbia.
No, that was the devil.
Columbia.
I was trying to move to Georgia.
That's what it was. Never mind. Florida
Val
woman.
had something to say.
Yeah,
Don't
Val.
call her Florida woman. That's an insult.
Florida woman.
Well, no, I was curious. like the book we want to be printed and shipped out to people by when? April? Why do I have
is the
April in my
promise.
head?
Well,
April
okay.
is the promise date.
April
Okay.
2020 is, in my mind, everything went wrong.
Yeah.
Everything was on fire. Our shipping company fell through. The printing stuff fell through. All that. That is
And
dead last.
That's if things are printing in April, not like if they get them in April.
What?
Like, okay, let's say everything goes wrong, but we're still able to get it to the printers by February. It still wouldn't ship until April.
Yeah, well, yeah, but
Because there's like a 4-week waiting
Right.
process.
So what I would like to do is by December 31st, I would like us to be in the printing process.
Yes.
Or at least very, very close to it.
Damn close or somewhere in there. And I think
Yeah.
with that timetable that Jameson's talking about, there won't be. There's no Theriathon to prepare for. There's no Dragoncon to prepare for.
Yeah.
There's no Arc
And
3
that's
will
another
already
reason we
be.
want to get done before April, because that's when we have to plan for Theriathon.
Right. I already got
Yeah.
the first episode of Arc 3 done. We're in the midst of that, so there will be no distractions beyond just working on the book and our regular job.
That using the timetable that we just kind of laid out,
Yeah.
getting from that in November to ready for print by the end of the year is going to be very Jasper dependent.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Because
Yes.
the workload is going to go from almost entirely on you guys
Yeah.
to almost entirely on him by the end.
Yeah.
So where that's the holiday season, we might want to check with him and see if that's
Right.
reasonable. I'm not comfortable pushing those first steps we talked about any earlier. I don't know that that's super reasonable for how much needs to be done still.
Yeah, I think there's a good 2 months worth of work before we're ready to really.
Yeah.
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 So if we start getting you, if the regions are done by November 1st, because that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
If the regions are done or almost done by November 1st, is having the rest of the book, the entire book, completely done reasonable by the end of the year? Because that's holidays. I don't know what his holiday schedule looks like.
And that's the
and-
tricky
and all
part.
that.
I
Yeah.
would like to shoot for that, being as how, let's say it gets pushed, past that, or let's say in Pie in the Sky, we get things finished a couple weeks before the holidays or something like that. Awesome.
Yeah.
But I think that still puts us on a damn fine timetable. Like it's still, we're still doing well.
Yeah.
I think January is an excellent month because almost nobody's busy in January.
Isn't January? Okay. I might be wrong. This might be February. Don't most Chinese factories have their workers all take 2 weeks off in the middle of January?
I think it's
That's
February.
That's
That
like
is
the
February?
first 2
Okay.
weeks of February, I think.
All right.
I think February is Chinese New Year, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, that's the one.
So for me, I think end of the year would be an excellent goal. I think that the nice to have goal would be end of the year. I think the must have goal would be end of Chinese New Year. Get it to them before Chinese New Year. Although, as long as we don't pick a shithole of a printer, we won't have a 6-month turnaround.
I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I
don't think it will be either.
Speaking of which, we should put that down payment down soonish, but I still want to make sure that we're within our page limit before we make that payment.
I feel like having the regions done will give us a confidence
I think so
in the page count.
Wow, we just got big timed.
Yeah, look at her. She's
Sorry, I've got to take this.
okay.
You just made her hang up on somebody.
We can't hear
Excuse me. That was my father calling me.
Tell him you're in a meeting.
I did.
Okay, I had one more thing
Yeah.
that occurred to me. One of the things after Regions, which again, I think we could probably finish writing Regions, obviously, long before November 1st.
Yeah.
So, and after I do the revisions, if I have time, I'll go back to writing other things. Characters. The
Yes.
way we did characters was very smart because we started with a bunch of PCs, which meant that we got backstories from people slowly, obviously, as their lives allowed for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be confusing if we keep doing just random characters going forward because they're all in one folder and it's ABC order. So it'll start getting confusing who's had revisions and who hasn't. So moving forward, I was thinking of just doing characters in ABC order.
I was thinking almost exactly the same thing, actually.
Cool.
So I like where you're at.
Yeah.
So I was
for
thinking
art or for revision?
For lore. For, like, their write-ups.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So my
I mean-
thought was I'd still like to do everybody who has art associated. I'd like to knock them out first, at least a first draft of the writing to accompany the art, so we have those two things together. But then once those are done, I absolutely think alphabetical is the way to go. There's no reason to change up the order after we have all the art done.
All right, that sounds
Unless you
perfect.
don't feel like it's necessary to have the lore kind of done in tandem with the writing, which I can see the argument for both. In which case, we'll just start going alphabetically down that list.
Thoughts? I don't know. I think that I could definitely just do the image list people first because you're right, that does take a little bit of extra layout. But with how short some of the PCs, especially the PCs who don't have art, would be, I think it might just behoove us to go in ABC order just because it's like anyone who doesn't have art is going to have a very short bio anyway. So skipping over them is almost like counterintuitive.
Yeah.
So maybe
No,
just
I
going
think
in ABC
I think
order.
that hitting them alphabetically is fine. When time allows us to chip away at the
Yeah.
PCs list or the NPCs list, let's just do them alphabetically. Let's just get them out of the way. You know?
Sounds perfect.
Now that the alphabetically is how we're structuring it in the book.
That's how I have it in the table of contents right now. We didn't really have a conversation about that. That was just the easiest way to organize them at the time.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like that's the one that makes the most sense because
Yeah.
the only other way to do it is to do it by group or to do it by
Yeah, that's
That's
not
silly.
Getting
out.
Point City, which is something we already ruled out.
yeah.
What about like are the PCs getting mixed in with the
Yes.
NPCs?
They're all
Everyone in the book
NPCs.
is labeled NPC.
Okay.
Because when
Yeah.
someone cracks this book open at home, they're all going to be NPCs in someone else's campaign, unless a player, I guess, wants to play like Elena
Yeah.
or something like that. That's
Right.
yeah.
Now what about the cast as NPCs? Because I don't know. I feel like the cast as NPCs should be like the section like just next to the NPCs.
Yeah, I feel like that's okay. Let's put it this way.
Sorry, I just thought of something. What if we make the cast as NPCs like page layout almost like a yearbook?
I mostly like this. This is what I like about everything you just said. This right here.
Like a yearbook, and we all get like a little quote.
Oh, man.
I kind of like the quote idea.
I like the quote idea.
Oh man. Okay. I'm going to structure our stats realistically for the most part. So like
No.
well, I mean, look.
Guys, I got to read my own character sheet. It's hilarious.
So like
It
I'm
was so correct it hurt a little, like, especially the flaws.
Oh no.
So what I want to do, these aren't going to be like high level, like I put us all around level 3. So like we're all good at
Except
stuff.
for Susan. She gets to be level 6 because she runs marathons.
Yeah.
She can outrun most threats, probably. But, like, what I want to do is, like, I think it makes sense that maybe the cast as NPCs is slightly, like, separate. Like, maybe adjacent.
Or
'Cause-
like it looks a little different.
well, it's going to look
somehow.
a little different. One, the artwork's going to be different.
Yeah.
Because the artwork is, I mean, the way it's being done now, if that holds true, like, that
seems
already
like
is
it,
different. Yeah. So... yeah, I think that'd be like a cute, like, plus it was a bonus thing in the
Yeah.
book anyway, so like, I think it'd be...
I was thinking the same thing. Like, I put Scions a little separate from the rest of the classes, mostly because there's going to be so much extra writing about Scions.
Yeah.
Over, like, most of the classes, it only has, like, a brief description of how they behave in-world. because you're playing them out of the book still. Like, we don't need to give you all the special rules or anything. We legally can't.
No.
So it's mostly just like, this is how barbarians behave and where they typically live and how they typically feel about things. Scions is going to be like, here are the fucking rules for Scions, bitches. So, everything okay?
Yes. Hold on.
You know, checking your phone during our meeting, like you just made fun of Val for doing?
It was
The other
Jasper.
thing is, when you say alphabetical, do we mean by first name or last name?
I've
Like
been
by
doing
first name,
first
right?
name,
That's what
yeah.
you mean?
Yeah. I think that'd be the best.
Yeah.
Not everybody has a last name even.
Right.
That's true. Avalon doesn't. I don't. Well, he's Bates.
Yes, it does.
He's Bates because it makes me think of Norman Bates, which fits. So that's perfect.
Oh.
Does Large have a last name?
No.
No.
Yeah, that's like one
I
that
don't
I can
think
think of
Ubo
that
does either.
doesn't have.
His last name is Barg, strangely.
No, I don't
like
think
Large bar.
Barg.
I don't think the
Large
orcs have
Bargnog.
last names, right? They just have clans that they're a member of. So, like, technically, they're of the blank clan. But
Well,
like,
with half orcs, it's because it depends on, like, a Ubo strays more to the orcish side, whereas Larg strays very much towards the human-ish side.
Yeah.
So, it's we lost Val.
No,
Video
I'm
wise.
right here.
Video wise, we
Yes.
lost Val. Hi, there's a
You lost it,
Jasper.
but you gained to me.
That's
hi,
true.
Jasper. I
You
like
have
how
to
you're
drag
not in the
me in.
basement. Yay.
You are in.
No, you have to like
It's just
drag
your cat,
my
Val.
icon.
Val,
What?
it's your cat avatar. That's all you got.
I can see Val.
Oh.
I see Val.
Yeah, you
Oh.
have to drag me in.
No,
That's what
it
I'm
broke.
saying.
It's just your
Val,
Drag
are
her
you
in.
there, Val?
What?
Val, there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
It woke.
Don't do that to me,
Huh?
Jasper. You know that it gets to me.
You just have to drag you in. That's all I know.
I just got to drag you kicking and screaming into
Yeah,
the
the
call,
cute cat's
apparently.
the
I don't know. You're not in. I don't know. You're out.
Okay, whatever.
You're out of here.
Hi,
Jasper.
I
What's up?
nothing. I have an inability to know that these calls are happening. And you could tell it to my face. You could say, "Get on the call right now. I'm in front of you. I'm sitting at the table with you," and I'd be like, "What?"
You're fine.
You're
Honestly,
fine, yeah.
we're still discussing when we can hand you a big pile of work.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, it's important. It's fine. I was looking through things. I haven't had a whole lot of time to be able to get to this until now. My family's gone for a couple of weeks, and I'm like, now I can get busy. It's fine as long as there's something there roughly for me to play with.
Yeah.
I think that's fine because it's just for FPO, for placement only, just like brrr, I can start putting all that together. So it's going to be critical, of course, for it to be right.
Yeah.
But for me to start getting it going and making sure that we're good to go with, rough page count and all that kind of stuff. It's all good.
Well, I'll run back really quickly through what we discussed for like a game plan for the rest of this process, because I want to make sure that it sounds good to everybody who needs substantial time. The idea when we get back from Dragoncon is to focus on completing the regions one at a time, kind of like we're doing right now with 10,000 Horns.
Yep.
So the week after Dragoncon, we'll try to finish another region, then however many weeks it takes to finish the next region. And I'd like to hand you every piece of each region just every couple weeks or every week, even if we can, and do it
Yep.
that way. The goal would be to have the region section of the book, which is the largest section of the book, done by the 1st of November. That would be my goal.
Yeah.
We're obviously going to have to reevaluate between now and then and make sure that's still reasonable after a few weeks of this.
It makes sense. Just quickly, since I've already got things going from I'm basically redoing the Northlands, not from scratch, but I'm
Right.
kind of reimagining some things about it. Once that one's in place, because the Northlands is kind of a big one.
Yeah.
There's other big ones, but the Northlands is kind of like the big one. Once those pieces are in place, it probably, it won't take time to do. It might take time for me as a human being to do it because of all the other things that are
Right.
going
Yeah.
on. So
Right.
that's the only consideration. But otherwise, once the pieces are in place, it's about just Legoing it together. And just like a Lego, it just means you have to sit down and do it for a while. That's all.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Good news.
So with that consideration in mind, obviously the time it takes to do it, and then the time it takes to find the time to do it. If let's say we're actually on track and everything's in place, and we have all of the regions completely done by November 1st. The goal then would be to have the rest of the book formatted, laid out, and ready to go by the end of the year, calendar year. That's tricky because holidays, and I don't know what your holiday season looks like, and the back end of that is obviously mostly on you.
Can you just
but-
work through Christmas? Can
Yeah,
we
just don't celebrate anything. and we'll be
Pleasure.
fine. But that's what we were discussing, so I just wanted to run it by you and see if that at least sounded reasonable for now, and we'll reevaluate later. But okay.
Yeah, totally sounds reasonable for now. I don't think what I'm trying to do right now, like I said, is front load as much as I can, because that basically means that if I'd stay up late and do things, it won't be like I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to start with. It's more like, yeah, just slot in.
Right.
That way it's just constantly, no matter what, even if it's for 10 minutes a day, I can at least get something done. That's what my goal is, because right now, like it's like the curse of having a big white piece of paper in front of you. You're like, I want to draw something, and that's the most terrifying
Yeah.
time, right? Because it's like I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
But so I just went ahead and cranked through for like, honestly, what I did is on Sunday. So everybody's gone, right? I keep saying it, but I'm just so fucking excited.
I'm just so glad
I
they're
love
gone.
my family. But also we know, and especially having had twins, I'm sure it's that with multiple kids, but we've just been nonstop since day one. We look for breaks for each other. So, hey, I'm going to take them to grandma's for a few days. You take a few days. They're going to France to go be with her mom and family. And it's glorious. So Sunday I woke up and I thought, okay, what can I do? So I went to the coffee shop. I took my computer and I'm like, I'll mess around for a little bit. I opened this stuff up and I came back. The windows were like, the shutters were like dark. I was in a cave and I worked for about 12 hours on this thing. Just like get it set up. Now that doesn't mean 12 hours of like, we're almost done. It's like 12 hours of, that's not right, for about 8 of them.
Right, yeah.
And I fucked around. So I'm excited, is my point. And I think I've already got stuff going to.
All right, good. Yeah, and you obviously know what kind of time this is going to take better than I can plan for. So I just want to make sure you're aware of the plan. So if something's like that's too much time or that's not enough or whatever, and always good to know. So good.
Right now it sounds fine, and we'll just keep adjusting as we see fit. But what I can say is that for this, content aside, for all of this to be taken care of from a layout point of view, by the end of the year is not, I don't say it's not a problem, it's completely doable. Right. The content and anything that might happen, any hiccups or revisions, or if Val keeps finding all of your mistakes, which it's a big task.
It's what we're paying her to do.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking
Anyway,
of, I want to change my title.
What's your title now?
Proofreader.
Oh,
Yeah.
what do you want to change it to? Mistake Czar?
No. I looked into like different like titles and stuff, and like I realized that what Susan and I aren't doing isn't just proofreading, because it turns out we're doing so much more than that.
Yes.
So I think our titles should be changed to copy editors.
Sounds good.
I mean, yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make a note.
Okay,
Put that on your
copy.
resume. What's my title?
Yeah.
Writer.
Doofus.
Oh, that doesn't sound as
Yeah.
sexy. Fine, whatever.
I'm really attracted to
Ew.
Doofy.
I was afraid to ask.
Dude, of course. I think proofreader's just what we put in there because we didn't know what to call
Yeah, we don't know what
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's just the name
copy
of like
editor
the
for sure.
thing you're doing, like in the Trello. Like I think we were probably gonna ask you before we put the credit in the book.
Oh yeah, I guess we get credits in the book.
Yeah, honey.
I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about finishing a book so people can read it.
Oh, I'm only thinking about putting my name on the cover.
Oh.
That's all
I
care
only want
about.
credit for it. I don't care what.
As a
I'm
matter
not
of
doing
fact,
it.
I'm going to check out for like 4 months. Can I
I'm
come
only
back?
here to make sure that when my name's on the cover, I'm not ashamed of what's inside. That's it.
We're still okay with my name being on the cover, equal level with you too.
Yeah, of course.
I was going to put it above the show title.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna put it right over Lauren's face.
Yeah, that's
I'm kind of thinking it could be the title. It's
Oh,
just my name.
Jasper Permenters. Alara, an adventurer's guide to Therier.
Exploring Jasper.
Yeah. Jasper's Guide to
That
Therapy.
sounds like a romance
Jasper's
novel.
Guide to Jasper with Jasper, and Jasper.
Jasper.
And then you open it up, it's just
Hey, do you
Jasper,
wanna
Jasper,
see-
Jasper.
You want to see what I worked on?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah!
Is that legit? I don't know how to share my screen anymore. I have no idea. I've tried
Go
this
through
like every
Skype.
time.
You got it. Wow.
What?
Wow. Are you proud of that? If you go down to the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, there are two little screens stacked up on top of each other.
Yeah.
That's the worst icon for this.
Look,
That is
man,
not-
I've given up on
Skype
asking.
has the worst everything for
It's
everything.
dumb. It's dumb. The thing
Deck
that
your
you think
cards,
is the
share
share
your
screen button is the take a picture button.
Yeah.
You see
Well,
that?
everything just went great. Oh, there it goes. Hey.
Hey.
Hello.
Ooh, hello, Northlands.
Right.
Cute
So
Rocky Mountains.
I don't remember, and this is because I don't have to know these things. Does every region have its own type of thing like this?
Yes.
Or
We're working on it. Yeah.
yes?
At
Yes.
least one piece for every region. Sometimes there's going to be two, or
Right.
there's even three in one. I think.
I
Yeah.
But
don't
yeah.
think the Fire
Importantly,
Isles does.
would there be
or
a
Serpent Island.
spread version of something? So we can basically say like, whoa, what is this amazing image? And then we can go into like the Northlands.
Oh, you mean for each region? Will there be like a big 2-page spread
Yeah.
landscape? I mean,
maybe not.
we could. We definitely could. We've only gotten, including the Northlands, 2.5 of these landscapes done so far. So if that's something that would be good, that we want, we can absolutely do that.
It was just an idea. If you think about each of these regions sort of, having basically an interstitial something to like
Right.
get you to the next region, that would be something. But anyway, it's such a nice image. It's like
Yeah.
amazing.
It
So
looks
amazing.
like a picture.
What is a picture,
really
Val?
I know what you mean,
Oh,
Val.
it's gotta be that.
It's a live
Um,
image.
Proud of that, Jason.
I'm sorry. I'm a piece of shit. I'm sorry.
Ooh, pretty. I love it.
Oh,
No.
that's gorgeous.
These are areas that I think we need something there. I need to do something with that, and it could be, like the page looks like it's ripped, or just something just to add some extra graphic elements or something like
Yeah.
that. The blues, so.
And we do have plans to get some like traveler's journal type sketches as well.
That's cool.
That we can throw in. So
Ooh,
Um,
I like him.
And things like this, like for Thunderspire, I know we're going to use the Minotaur again later, but
that's
Yeah.
funny. I was
I like that.
thinking of doing exactly that. I was thinking
Yeah.
about this the other day, and I was like, it'd be cool to just like for Thunderspire, just reuse one of the Minotaur images,
I
and
love
it's
that.
exactly good. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that we communicated psychically
Yeah.
early.
we did. And then I like this cool thing over here.
I like the fish. Let's keep the fish.
Fish is good.
Yeah, I don't know about these things. I think that they're more trouble than it's worth. I think they're not really very helpful unless they are a key to something. For example, like right now, like originally when I put this together, it was just like to have a little element, right? So Thunderspire, it's
Right.
like, oh, there's a tower or some shit.
Yeah.
Frost Basin, you said the word fish, so done, But if it's more like, if it's a clue or a key to something about the region or about it, then maybe, but otherwise it might just be too much junk.
I mean, I think it looks cute, but if
I
it's
like
like,
If
A
it's a
lot of
pain in
work
the ass to
for
put
you.
together, yeah. But
Yeah.
like, I don't think it's distracting on the page. I think
Okay.
it's.
I
think it's a
looked
nice
at
little
it a lot,
accent.
so I don't know.
I think it
it's
helps.
a nice way to show that like this is a separate
Right.
thing that we're talking about.
Yeah, it breaks things up.
That's true. It's a sub-region. Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Like I said, keep the
Um,
fish.
Keep the
I
fish.
keep the fish for sure.
It's gonna be a cold
Um,
fish. You should have a jacket. Fish jacket.
This thing I'm going to be using, you're going to see, to help with interstitials and all sorts of things, blah, blah, blah. I took away the weird columns because that was weird.
And the people rejoiced.
Sorry, listeners. Clearly,
We heard your feedback.
heard you loud
Yeah,
and
you can't
clear.
say we don't listen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it looks nice,
sorry.
Jasper.
But things like this, like I'm just thinking about layout. Like, let me take this thing away. So we can do things like this, but I'm trying to find, and we'll eventually be able to fold in, and maybe Jameson, we can talk about, like, maybe there's little sketches and little just, I mean, not like get an artist to do a big thing, but just like quick little sketches, like little hand-drawn things that can maybe just give a sense of Theria without actually meaning or being anything specific, but just a little graphic element. But that could fit in little places like that when there are gaps, because we get to a point when let me find a good place. Like here, it's like I'm kind of done, and I know it's not done, but like, just as a test, like here's 10,000 horns. Here's some information. I know it's not all in yet, but we may have a page that only has a couple of things on it. It's like, what do I do there? I don't want to make people have more art to do, like another piece that has to be made. But what do we do there? Is it I don't know. We have to think of some like almost more generic Theria color that can be added into things like that. And so maybe just we can brainstorm around that.
Well, one thing we talked about for smaller margins and things, we were talking about having someone do like really rough, almost like mappy type sketch things.
Yeah, that's it.
We were talking about stuff like that. I don't know how much of that we're going to get done.
Look at this. Jasper sent me these. Look.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Milo and Gala.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, to what you were saying, Jason, I actually had the thought, well, we're talking about Brandon, right? We're trying to find a way to
yeah,
use
I
him.
think that's what we were talking about last time. I don't remember how much we talked about getting, or like what.
Yeah. Well, we were waiting to see what shook loose on the budget before we really committed to it.
Yeah.
But the thought that I had was, what if we gave him a list of like 30 just items in the world, like a knapsack, a donkey, like just shit you see when you're out on the road, or just a rough sketch of a house, a farm, a split rail fence. Be like, draw 20 of these as loose as you want. We'll give you $100 or something like that, Yeah,
just
right.
Do a sketchbook and just scan it in, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
And things like that wouldn't
fun.
necessarily need to be revised as well. Because it's not like, oh, we have this specific thing in mind. It's just like, draw something cool looking.
Yeah, exactly.
So Jason can finally chill the fuck out. And
Nope.
Just...
And
no, the donkeys and Therias have 7 eyelashes on their right eye.
The other thought I had, and I'm not totally sure about this, but I wanted to put that out there and see if you guys had strong reactions to it, is what do you think about using, not much, but a little bit of rough draft sketches from stuff that we are using in the book as a final version? Like the Briar Troll is a perfect example. What do we think about using a rough sketch of that Briar Troll elsewhere in the book as like a traveler's journal type thing?
That sounds cheap. I like that. That's the first very cheap thing we've talked about recently.
See, things like the Minotaur sort of closing in on that a little bit, where it's not a big reveal about here's the monster, look at it, how tall it is, and exactly the dimensions. And it's not that. It's just a tease of things. I really like the idea of using things. It doesn't have to be a big reveal of anything. It could be just simply the claw of something, or just a little edge of something. It kind of gives the impression, too, of the book being made. And almost like Theria being built, right, in a way, which this is what this is. And so I like that. And then I think another thing, that if there's any other sort of sketchy sketches that could just be done real quick, maybe we could come up and brainstorm a list of not the big magic items and not the big story MacGuffins, but other just normal stuff that are almost not in jokes. I don't want them to be silly, but things like, I don't know, any description we've ever had of one of the carriages, or of I don't know, anything that would be just a normal thing.
Or even just like Jordana's shop, which just looks like a normal shop, but it has her name on it.
Yeah,
like
just a fake little village with a little sign on it that says Merkin's Limbs would be like, oh, it would be almost an inside.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, like, let's have a little picture of a goat near Fairbay, because there was that goats episode,
Yeah.
It's true.
I like that there was a
like
ghost
that.
episode of our show.
There was a goats episode, yeah.
Val, remember the goats episode?
I do remember the goats episode. I got my first fan art from that goats episode.
Okay.
And I had it as my phone lock screen for a really long time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is we like the idea of having spare parts of artwork that we can throw in as needed, if needed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
And all the stuff that's coming in on the Discord is I can grab those types of things and put them in for placement sometimes, and just sort of like, oh, wouldn't this be cool here?
And
Okay.
actually,
So I can just kind of thing.
before you got here, we talked about organizing the art a little bit more by having like all the drafts in one folder and all the finished pieces in another folder.
That was super.
So that way you could look through all of the drafts and be able to see all
That
the
would
sketches.
really help. That
Yeah.
would be super, super, super helpful.
I'm checking something real quick in the image list. Sorry, I didn't mean to announce that. Like everybody, shut up.
No. When it's
I'm
when
looking
something's
through.
announced that, like, seriously, it's like, oh god, what's wrong? Like,
No, it's good. It's good because stuff like this shakes loose. So Iris's art is budgeted for $90. You guys didn't pay for Iris's art. Mandy paid for Iris's art, so that's $90 right
That's
there.
noted in the budget.
Oh well, it's
Yeah.
not in the image list.
Yeah, I should have written next to it. I should have written that down.
Are
That
we
was my
also though? Are we keeping track of? Because I know that some of the art that's being done by the black and white and colorist team is coming in under budget. Are we keeping track of those pieces
I
and what they're
have
saving
not
us?
been. So that's
Okay.
something that we could update the image list with to fit the new numbers, because that would be
Yeah.
really helpful. I have it in our setting book budget, like as it's being paid, I make a note
Yeah.
of
Okay.
how much is going out. But there's also little things like, for instance, the Countess, that was an extra bus to get her done. So that was
Okay.
an extra,
Yeah, worth it.
worth it.
Right.
Damn.
Same thing,
Um,
like if we want to do landscapes for every region, because I'm pretty sure we don't have any landscape for the islands budget. You have
That
the
is
image list
not a
out there.
mandate.
Yeah.
We can make that work no matter what. I was just looking for a way to introduce or to get people to realize they're in a new section. And that's a
Right.
really nice way to do it. Just like you're in a magazine and there's like a big spread and then you move to the next thing. Do not start putting budget behind it if it's not doable. Don't worry about that. We can make it work.
We're also working on something on our end that would help loosen up the budget a little bit if we were able to succeed with it.
I'm not
if
getting
we-
money back.
Yeah.
Is that what you're...
No, we're looking into maybe getting like a business credit card, specifically to pay off back taxes, so that it would be better for everyone if we could just pay back a company that will give us credit for paying them back versus paying the IRS, who will never, ever, ever, ever even put a dent in the amount we owe them because they just keep adding interest.
every day, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. So-
Jesus, like student loans.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
just found something else that I don't know if this is accounted for, Bree, but the demons and gods images are still marked for $1,000 a piece
Oh yeah,
in
yeah.
the
that
image
can be
list, and those are
changed.
coming in way under.
Are they?
Yeah.
How much are they again?
Well, because we are having Crowbar do the line work, and we're
Right.
having Arthur do the
That's right.
colors.
Yeah.
Crowbar is charging $40 a head for the line art, and Arthur's doing the entire page in color for $80.
So that's $480 for the gods.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I never did the math for that.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
And
So that
Arthur-
shakes some money loose right
Looky.
there.
That's a lot of money right there.
Hey.
Yeah.
So I'll stop
I knew that was
stressing
somewhere.
out now.
Yeah, I knew we saved money somewhere. I just couldn't think of where that was.
I was trying to think of it. I was scanning the list. I was like, I know
Yeah.
that this is like a worst case scenario budget. I know that we have already
Oh, yeah.
loosened some of this up right now.
Yeah, and we definitely have like even Larg and Hoog. I think I still have them both in there for $100 and
I
something
changed that.
dollars. Oh, cool.
I was looking at it the other day
Yeah.
and I changed it because that came in just at 90.
Yeah.
So real quick while we're on it, I also had the thought for the recipe artwork. Do you guys want to give that to Brandon? Because he's got that kind of loosey-goosey, sketchy style, and I feel like that fits the recipes really well.
This is a Jasper
Oh
decision.
yeah, that
in
is a
my
Jasper
eyes.
decision.
Do you want to
Jasper.
see Brandon's portfolio, Jasper?
I would love to. I mean, I'm certainly, I don't need to make a final decision on anything, but I think that it would make sense. I almost see the recipes coming across from a visual point of view as Merrick scratching down his recipes in his
Right.
big recipes and sort of drawing his own little version of it. So it's not like it's beautiful. It's just like that. So he can point at it and somebody say, do it that way. You know.
Yeah, that's. I like that a lot. I like.
There's a few blood drops on one of the pages.
Yeah, no, for real. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, let me find the piece
then
that
a piece
we
of werewolf hair tells a story.
Where's that piece that we really liked of Brendan's? Oh, here it is. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Hang on just 1 minute. My wife keeps calling me. Everybody's big timing each other today.
She calls
Yeah.
me like every
Jeez.
day. Why won't stop calling me either.
I am a puppy. That's the same. He's sleeping.
That is a good looking bear.
That is such a good looking bear.
I'm just saying, like, it's not.
If I were a
This is
furry,
not the final layout, but there's something to be said for like seeing these little details in the background of when you finally do see the final thing. You're like, oh man, that's so cool. Like you almost like see the little behind the scenes. I like it.
Yeah.
This is not the layout. I just threw these in. But
I like it.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a way that we can. I know we have extra stuff to give you, and now we're finding money in the budget where it's like, okay, let's get some more sketchy things done. Let's get some more, you know, like not, I don't want to say filler artwork, but margin.
it is
artwork.
filler.
Yeah.
It means that there's not a page with a big blank spot. It means that
of art.
everything's been thought through. Yeah, it's B-roll, and it's fine because it's meant to fill in the gaps and make it feel cohesive, and also hopefully have a little bit of moments of delight, you know, through it. It's like, oh shit, is that Melkus's carriage? Like that's so fucking cool, you know.
Yeah.
It's
the
never
Malchus
mentioned
mobile's in there.
Oh yeah, that's getting far.
what you know what I mean, right?
So I linked to an example of what I'm thinking of, Jasper, for the art style for the recipes. It's in the Skype chat.
Yeah. Yes, that's perfect.
I like
That's absolutely perfect because it has structure to it. So, for example, if it were a hamburger, it would still really look like a hamburger, but it would look like it had been put through some sort of weird filter.
Yeah. I mean, the way I keep
like
imagining
sketch
it, because my wife watches a lot of the British Baking Show, is they do sketches in like.
They do. I know what you're talking about. I love that
They do a lot
show.
of black ink sketches with like a watercolor wash to them.
Yeah.
Which is just how I imagine food art looking now because she watches so much baking show. So that's kind of what I had in mind. If that works for you, then I'll absolutely put Brandon on these because he's been kind of itching to get started on something. So
definitely, I need to get some stuff together. You know, I was trying to find the recipes that were long ago, like the Cooking with Merrick when I was putting a few things together, and it's all on the forum.
Oh
no!
Steve might have it then. Steve
might have it.
I know for a fact, Steve, David, they're curators. They're people who have saved certain things because I know before we shut the forum down, we told everybody it's like, look,
they are. Take what you need. Grab something and go.
Yeah, fucking load up the arc because we're done with this.
Mm-hmm.
So good. That all sounds really cool.
I love this stuff. This is awesome. Nice job, Brandon.
Yeah. So I think what I'd like to do, and not immediately, but in the next couple weeks, I'd like to give Brandon those what did we say 4 pieces of food art to do? Was it 3 or 4? I forget.
I think it was
4. 4 sounds even.
And then if we could do something like, hey, here's X amount of money, draw however many little sketchy things, backpacks, spell books and shit. Just do a whole bunch of them, however many you feel like that's worth what we're going to do. And then we can just use that as interstitial stuff throughout the book. I think that's totally fine. And we can use previous drafts from other people's work. I'll even just look through my old art of shit I've never used and see if there's anything appropriate.
Honestly,
I could draw some things.
Yes.
If you don't think we're hiding your Dem's grapes in there somewhere.
Jackson, do it.
Speaking of Easter eggs, I already found one.
Oh!
Ooh.
Meaning?
I found an Easter egg that's going in the book. Well, I think it's an Easter egg because it's like you have to listen to the podcast and you have to really listen to the podcast to know what the Easter egg is.
You're killing me. What is it?
What is it?
Valerie. Ebelmare.
Oh, yeah. Is that an Easter egg?
No, she's in the travel table.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of characters in the travel table.
But like, it's just her first name, and it says her and her 2 kids, and that's it, and it doesn't say
Yes.
anything else. I think that's considered an Easter egg because only people that like really listen to because I had to look it up.
Oh yeah.
to see.
So if I
And
don't
that's why I
remember,
asked
it's
you
an
the
Easter
spelling
egg.
of the name
Yeah.
because I knew it was Valerie Ebelmare, not just like some character named Valerie.
Right.
It's
I
your
thought you meant
NPC.
you
It's,
were
it's
the
Valerie as
Easter
an
egg.
NPC.
Yeah.
Well, there's technically now 2 Valerie Spaniards in Theria. That's all I'm saying.
I have
God, you're right.
2
Inception.
unrelated things when you're done with that.
Go ahead.
Not that that wasn't important.
You have the
But
floor.
I just realized something. I'm looking at this beautiful bear, and realizing that there's a background on it and all sorts of things. And for any of the monsters, especially, it's going to be ideally we can work around it.
Transparent
but ideally,
backgrounds.
Yeah, the file that Jason has right now has a transparent background version.
I got a TIFF of it that's transparent, I think, too. Yeah.
Yeah, so Arthur...
No, it's not.
I don't know. I don't know. I just
Okay,
said that.
you-
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Don't look at.
The Arthur, the guy who does those colors, every single piece he's handed me, I've been like, we need one with a transparent background. dude."
Yeah.
And I think he knows. I just think he really likes doing a colored background for some
Dude, I
reason.
mean, it's
Maybe
beautiful.
it helps him. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just hit me. I was like, "This is so awesome!" Oh shit! And when I put it in the layout for a second, I was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we can manage around it. We can, I can blur edges and do all sorts of things and make it fit in. But I do think it's going to have more impact whenever you turn that page and there's a big thing and it's like
Right.
coming out of the page a little bit rather
Especially
than
like the cryptids and stuff like that. We need, like they're going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's.
So I think, and let me know if he ever doesn't provide a version with the with the transparent background, but he has been up to this point providing both with and without a background. So we'll keep an eye on that, and I think all of our other guys know to do that as well. So
Come on, come here. No, you're scared. Great. Awesome cat. Second thing is, should we? This is where you cut for all listeners. Cut it now.
Okay.
Can we put something in that is a super one of the Jason Massey alternate reality games super secret codes throughout the book where there's like dots that are little patterns here and there, and when you start putting them together, you're like, holy shit, this is a message.
I could do that.
Oh, we could bury some treasure somewhere and no one will find it for like 80 years, and then they'll build a fucking building on top of it.
So
Could totally do that in Atlanta.
I'm actually
Dragon.
I'm getting an idea right now. So
Oh, boy.
we started.
Let's take it.
We started to come up with a list of potential stories to do, right? And one of them, I could definitely slip a few things in there, or we could slip things in the margins, or some kind of we could do something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's fuck with
I
some
don't
people.
want. I don't want to add more work, but I do think
No,
it
no,
would
no,
be
this is
'cause
fun
it
work.
would be more work. But it would be something simple. It could be as simple as a Morse code like message, and then you get a message, and then you go to a place, and it's got something fun for the person who figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be cool.
Yeah, or we hide those hobo symbols.
Yep.
We hide those on the side of a building in an actual piece of art.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Ooh,
Oh,
hidden
baby.
in the art.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, I
baby.
like
You know who'd be
that.
all
Like
about that? Andrew.
And-
Andrew would do that in a second.
Imagine seeing on one of the cryptids, and there's like an amulet or some sort of armor, and it's got that kind of symbol in it, and you're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
You know what we
That's like
do?
the hobo symbol.
We hide stuff for the next book in there. Or for the underground or the underdark or whatever it's called.
You know what? Let's get together on the Discord server and start discussing that.
Yeah. I think there's a lot you could do with that. I think that's cool.
I started maniacally petting
Yeah,
this
you really
puppy.
did. You picked him up.
You are absolutely bond building that.
I
Okay, now
started really
back to listeners.
blofelding this
Yeah.
fucking here.
All right.